All right, we are live. Sorry for the delay. This 4:30 start was a little bit too ambitious, most likely. So, hello everyone. I'm Laszlo Fogas. I'm running a company called Capactior. We are making a Flux-based internal developer platform where you can deploy to Kubernetes and all that. And so that's Gimlet, and we are doing now Capactior, which is basically a non-opinionated version of Gimlet. Basically, it's a Flux UI, so we focus purely on Flux and the related deployments and the inventory, like how applications are deployed with Capactior with Flux. And I've been running this as sort of an after-hours thing since September, but I think in November I went radio silent. Obviously, year-end has been a little bit busy, but this year development was picked up again, and we did a lot of offline development. So if you follow the repository, which is gimlet.io/Capactior, you should see that there has been commits in the past week or so, and we made good progress, I think. And I think in this stream, first I just want to go through the pull requests, the code pushes we did in that time frame, and frankly, the application. So we have something working, and yeah, that's what I'm going to demonstrate to you just in a bit. And later in the stream, I think I'm going to do some work as well, like documenting the installation experience and so on. So like I'm going to install Capactior because I think I can spill the beans. I think we are going release candidate. Not that this version is the best and, you know, we are like ready for prime time or anything, but I think it's the idea is captured in the current state as well, and you can add it to your cluster with kubectl apply, and you can have this Flux UI on your cluster. But what does it do? Let's just quickly go through it. So this is where you land. It's a single page. There is not much. There are no more pages, or there is no structure, no login, no settings page, nothing. So when you land here, you see your services like my chatbot UI, my other test application. You can see basic information about each service. Hey, this chatbot UI is running in a single instance, a single replica. So basically, there's one pod which is in a running state. I see some other information as well, like where can I access. This one doesn't have an ingress in Kubernetes, so it just displays the cluster local address. And if you want to port forward this application, there is the URL. You can click it, it opens the browser, and you can also like copy the port forward command. So if you want to access the application, there is a little help over here. Plus some, some day-to-day helpers, like you can look at the logs of this application, and you can also describe the pod. Describe is where the errors often pop up, and this is where you can catch root causes and so on. And if you have like some dependencies like config maps or secrets, for example, here you can look at the config maps with very meaningful values, like a new key, a new value. And yeah, it's just a test. And you can describe the secrets. Now, not the secret values, just the size, but this can give you an idea whether you have the secret key or 5 bytes, so that's most likely just 5 characters. Is that all right? Does that seem realistic? So you can do some cross-check there. And there is like a sync state, like when was it applied? It was applied less than a minute ago. Or 9 minutes ago, so that's maybe a bug. So these timestamps are only like refreshed on page refresh. So maybe we should make an issue out of this, and have like a timer which refreshes these little timestamps like constantly. So this was applied 9 minutes ago, but that's the time I actually started up my cluster. So that's basically where Flux reapplied things again, and it's linked to like a Flux customization. And you can of course find your favorite service. There are some filters. You can filter by namespace. So if I go Flux system, I can look at the Flux pods. If I go default, I can see that these two applications I have. And maybe I'm having some comments here. Oh, there's some noise. Damn it. Thank you guys for the notice. Audio. Okay. So I'm changing to a different mic and changing it back to this one. I hope it helps. So I switched to a Mac, and ever since I have troubles. I have some troubles with audio. Good stuff. Thank you, Oscar. Yeah, so the situation has been, since I switched to a Mac, it goes through like multiple USBs and stuff. But if I am on mute for a long time and I come back, suddenly it starts generating some weird noises. And what I did, what I did was basically just picked another microphone and, and then back, and everything was all right. Maybe it's the noise canceling. I have no idea. It's annoying. So I don't know how much you guys picked up, but up until this point, I was showing you Capactior basically, and I was doing some pitch, nothing more. And you have we have some filters as well by service. So if you are like focused on just a single application, you can filter the list of services to your application, or you can do the namespace based filter and stuff. Later on, we can of course extend this list. So this is like your services up here, and down here, this is your Flux state basically. If you're applying something, or there's a new Flux or a new revision that Flux needs to reconcile, you will see like a reconciling state here. If there is an error, you're going to see an error state here. I think I'm going to demonstrate that to you during the stream, partly because I want to show you, and partly because it's good testing for me as well. So it's still work in progress. So if I make an error somewhere, these should really capture the situation nicely. So if you click the footer bar, it comes up. You see your sources, which basically are Git repositories. 8 hours ago, there was a new revision. This is the Git, or the Git commit link. It was committed 10 days ago. If you click it, it goes there, and it's main branch and where is it on GitHub. So like classic Git stuff. All right, I hope audio is all right. Yeah, and since this is Flux, a specific tool, these terms like customizations, Helm releases, and so on are definitely, going to communicate it, at least in the footer. Up here, it's more opinionated and more tailored towards developers. So like developers' day-to-day workflow. So if you're a developer and you want to have an extra feature up here, let us know, and we will be happy to investigate. Yep, customizations, again, which commit, what folder has been deployed when. It's only interesting when you try to debug something, and you want to see, like, is my latest commit deployed? And typically you go to the cluster, get customizations, get Git repositories, and so on. You will get that information up here pretty quickly. And there are Helm releases as well, which is a little bit more of a tricky case, because Helm releases can have various different error scenarios. It's not just GitOps, that the Helm release version was updated, but the Helm controller actually has to install your release, which it's not always, error-free. So when things go wrong, it's very tricky to debug Helm releases, and we try to help with that. And Flux runtime is not ready yet. It's basically just the Flux pods and the logs. So if you really want to understand what's going on in Flux, you can definitely do that. Awesome. So maybe I'm gonna do some error scenarios, or just doing a commit on one of these repositories. So if I go to this application Git repository, and I'm gonna do just a direct commit into the config map, like going very manual. Hello, I'm streaming. And if I push this, I should see some changes. Maybe it was already deployed. It can be very fast. So look, the applications repo had a commit less than a minute ago, and the customization rolled it out less than a minute ago. I did see a blip here, but this was too fast to observe. And here there is the hello, I'm streaming. So GitOps is working. The UI was not quite helpful in this case because stuff is generally working. But if I'm making a mistake, let's say just going straight to the cluster and get maybe customizations in all namespaces, and I'm gonna go and just mess up the config of this apps customization. Edit customization built-in apps in the Flux system namespace, and change the path to somewhere over the rainbow, which obviously does not exist. Sorry to say that. Basically, what you see here that is in reconciling state, and basically you already see the error message here, but the UI does not jump immediately into an error state. It tries to give it some time. Maybe it's just a temporary issue, maybe just a glitch. You already see that it's reconciling. Maybe you are concerned that, hey, this should be faster. And you come here, you see, my Express.js test app is running. There is a version, a previous one, and currently reconciling. And why does it take some time? You come to the customization, you see the reconciling state, and at the current implementation, I set this timeout to 5 minutes. So it will try, and wait, maybe things gonna resolve. So maybe you don't get an error immediately if GitHub is down. Maybe you should, I don't know. But I give GitHub 5 minutes, or especially this is true with Helm releases. Sometimes you need to give it some time until you declare that things are terrible. So I leave this running and maybe just hop into the Helm releases part. And I'm gonna update maybe a Helm release, and maybe I'm also going to break it. And I'm going to use GitOps for this. So I'm going to go to the infrastructure repository, and I have a few Helm releases. There is a Gimlet agent. It's not used in Capactior. This is just a dummy deployment. But if let's say, what should I do? I'm going to do something terrible. What would happen if I change the resources to, like 5 megabytes of memory? It obviously won't be able to start up. However, the Helm release would consider that, everything is all right because, hey, I released it. So maybe I'm going to go and do something nasty. I'm going to change the tag to 24 blah, blah, and make a commit. I'm going to come back to Capactior again. Sources, the infra has not been updated yet, it seems. Okay, infra was updated less than a minute ago, so that's good. Customization says okay, let's ignore this for a while. I think that is just my test setup. This should be actually reconciling, so that is something for me to address. Okay, now the Helm release was rolled out, and as you can see, Gimlet agent is reconciling the Helm release and running upgrade with a 5-minute timeout. So that's the Helm controller, and telling me that, yeah, I'm going to run the Helm upgrade and I'm going to give it 5 minutes to come up healthy. And it will not, because if you, for example, come here and search for your service, which is Gimlet, yeah, I just see that it's reconciling. Yeah, the pod was not streamed down, so that's again something for me to fix. But basically, there is a running version of this application, and there's a new one that is being, in pending state. Typically, I would describe this pod. However, this button is describing the deployment, so there is something to improve here. But if I describe this pod, describe pod, no, Kubernetes infrastructure, and Gimlet agent is in error image pool back of state. If I describe it, describe pod. Yeah, so this would, tell me, that something is off. And frankly, I should be able to discover this case or this situation from the UI as well. So that's definitely going to be handled before release. But basically, the case what I would like to show you guys is the Helm release. After 5 minutes, is going to go into an error state, and I think in the Helm history, which is here, there will be a new failed Helm release or Helm deploy. So in 3 minutes, we are going to be able to see this failure. And in the meantime, you remember that I actually made a mess with these customizations config. I set the path to somewhere over the rainbow, and after 5 minutes, it did set it to error state. So if you land, if you open up Capactior in your cluster and you see this, then it's, it's obvious, an obvious error situation is going on with Flux, which you can remediate later on. So customization error handling is working. Helm release, I can demonstrate it in 2 minutes. So basically, that's the kind of observability things that Capactior adds to regular Flux deployments. It's not easy to discover these customization states, but Helm release states definitely not easy to discover. All right. Let's see. There are some comments. Okie dokie. So basically, this is the core behavior. You see your services up here. You can filter them. You can, check the logs, describe the deployment, or just describe the pod, do port forward. If there's an ingress, the URL shows up here. You can immediately navigate to the ingress. And you can see the synchronization state of Flux. So it was applied 1 minute ago. However, the Helm controller is still reconciling the new version. So with Helm releases, there are 2 states going on. One is that, yes, it's the latest version that we are trying to deploy. So that's the duality that is not easy to capture here. Awesome. So once this is in an error state, I'm gonna quickly just go through the repository. Basically, in the commits, you can see the things we did. So if you're interested in contributing or understanding the code or understanding how to get Flux state out of Kubernetes, it's all inside. And I think in the previous episodes of this stream, I was showing some cases how to implement things. Yeah, we were displaying the dependencies in this PR, port forwarding, logs, and describe overlay. My colleague made these changes, so kudos to him. He's just leaving the office. Good for him. Awesome. Then we started supporting Helm releases. So you can follow the development here. Issues we want to address, displaying the Flux runtime pods. We want to like links still need to be implemented. So, for example, when an application was created by customization, we display the customization here, and this link should be clickable, and it should go to GitHub. It just doesn't do that right now. And if you click this customization, it should open up the footer and open up the right customization. And this customization is linked to a source, like a Git repository. If you click this, it should really link to the source. So this is what I mean when I say interlinking. We need to do some performance optimizations before the release, because right now everything is loaded at once. So if you look at the network, the services call loads all the applications, and the Flux state loads all the Flux things. And the services is already, like a considerable amount of delay, like it's almost like 1 second in a relatively small dev cluster. I have tested on a moderately sized staging environment of of Gimlet Cloud, and it was loaded in 16 seconds, and I didn't even try to try on a larger installation. So we need to do some performance optimizations. Either we make the loading server side or this filter server side. So based on namespace, filter the server side, or we may do some other chunking of this data loading. And that is, yep. So in the meantime, the hand release as well is in error state. Context deadline exceeded. Not very helpful still. Here you can see my colleague is calling me. I suppose voice is still working. Hold on, guys. All right, folks, thank you for the notices. So I officially dropped this mic. I am using the other one. And hoping that this will work. So I'm using the webcam's microphone. It should be better. And I need to debug this situation. I'm terribly sorry about that. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much, Oliver. Cool stuff. So basically, I was just looking at issues that we want to address before release, performance optimizations. It's sometimes taking 16 seconds to load everything on a moderate-sized cluster. So it's definitely, we need to do some chunking up of this data loading endpoint. So that's still required. There's some UI glitch, if there are more than 10 customizations and have releases, things are a little bit wonky on the footer. I might do this on this stream. This should be easy. Yeah, well, I said earlier that we can check deployment describe. We can describe deployments. I think what we're going to do is that when you describe the deployment, there will be further filters. So you can look at the deployment, or you can look at pod 1, pod 2, pod 3, and so on. Same is true with logs. Right now, we show you all containers in all the pods all at once with color coding. Maybe it's not visible here, but some other deployments maybe have multiple pods. So we do color coding, but maybe we should do some filters as well. So that's definitely something we want to work on, maybe not in version 1. And then I want to do installation instructions in this stream because I think Capactior is in a state where what it does it. And it would be very cool if you would try it and run it on your clusters. And just some simple changes. Right now, Capactior requires Flux 2.2, and then I realized that not even I run all my clusters on the latest Flux, and older Fluxes have an older version of an API with Helm release. So I'm gonna fix this during the stream. So let's see. Cool stuff. Shout if it's not working. Thank you, guys. Awesome. So I have some time doing some actual work, and what I want to do is really the installation instruction in the README file, because if that is there, then you can go nuts and try it yourself and recommend new features or help in development or whatever. So maybe I'm gonna do, README file. Why yada yada installation. What do we need? Right now we have a deploy folder where there is a Helm values file, and that's the values file I'm using to run to template, and then I have this manifest file. So basically there are going to be two versions of installation. One is manifests, and the other one is Helm. So Helm should be quite easy. So if we go one chart, this is our general purpose Helm chart, which is, you can use it to deploy any web application, or actually cron job and static websites as well. And if you want to deploy a specific image or use an environment variable or secret, it has a nice abstraction on top of the Kubernetes YAML. So with Helm, first, of course, you need to add the repository, and then you are going to run Helm install. Maybe I should just run Helm upgrade -e or I, which is like upgrade it if it's there or install it. I hope. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then Capactior. Namespace. Right now the namespace is fixed. Sorry about that. And the values file is on the interweb, which is in the Capactior repository. Deploy Helm, and you should use these values. Yeah, look, there's a README here. Oh yeah, I missed the chart name, so I'm gonna add that. So, yep. And I hope Helm is able to handle a web URL for the values. Let me check if this works at all. So I don't have Capactior on this cluster. Oh, I actually do. So maybe I first go to, and I don't have a Helm release. At least I don't have that. Good. So kubectl -f. I think I installed it through this manifest, so I will be able to delete it. Delete f manifest YAML. Ooh. What's wrong with this? Line 203. Did I make a mistake? No, this is something else. Obviously, I am tricked by this regularly, so it's not the GitHub URL, but the row URL. All right, and there is an RBAC file here. All right, this should clean up Capactior in the cluster. Let's see if there are audio issues. No audio issues. Good stuff. So let's see if this new command works. Let's install Capactior on the cluster. Again, wrong URL. Row. Okie dokie, and let's run it again. Great. I have a Helm release Capactior, which is deployed. Okay. And I have Capactior running. Or do I? Oh, I don't. Because this is not enough. Let's do the Kubernetes manifests first. So with Kubernetes manifests, I already showed you. This is the command. Okay, so the Helm did not work alone because I have an RBAC as well, which is not part of this Helm chart. So the Helm installation is going to be a little bit hybrid. So first, either way, you need to add RBAC. Yeah, that's not really pure Helm, but I'm going to leave it like this, and at some point I'm going to roll the two things into one. So first you need to deploy RBAC. RBAC has a lot of roles. So Capactior is, like to get, watch, and list many things, config maps, even secrets. So all the Flux custom resources and pods, logs, events, blah blah blah. So that's something to keep in mind. For now, this is like this. So first you deploy RBAC, and then you deploy the manifest, which is also here. It is just generated from this Helm chart. And yeah, maybe I leave the generation comment here. New file, remove the, and it's actually how we generate the manifest is almost like this. We do Helm template, Capactior, infrastructure namespace, one chart, values file, and then boom, into the manifest. YAML, and maybe I'm not going to use the web based, but instead I'm going to do something else. Hold on, I'm getting messages. Maybe something is wrong. Everything's all right. So instead, I'm going to do Helm slash YAML into manifest. So What if I do that? Oops, what did I do? If I do this, it's run it again without any changes. So I think this is the right command. Okie dokie. So back to the installation one. Yeah, first you apply RBAC, then you apply the manifest, and you're good to go. And you can access. Oh, you need a namespace as well. So far, or for the first version, this has to work. And then kubectl port forward svc/capacitor in the infrastructure namespace port 9000 to local port 9000. So this is actually how you can try Capactior even today on any cluster. So how does this look? Looks good. And if I run this, I have this port taken. I'm running Capactior from my IDE. What if I stop it? Oh, look. Oh, yeah. Capactior is not running or not deployed fully because of the RBAC. So let me fix that. RBAC. Boom. Starting up. Yeah, 0/1. Maybe I'm just gonna kick it somehow. Yeah, that's the common error, and I know that was going on, but I think I fixed this. So what if I just edit the deployment to trigger just a dummy change. Oh, no, cancel. Okay, so I kicked the deployment, it is running now, if I do the port forward with the original command, it is working and I have it running in the cluster. Good stuff. So I believe these installation instructions are coming together. And what else is needed? Nothing else really, because RC1 was pushed 2 days ago. YAMLs are there, documentation is there. I suppose we are done. So installation instructions. I'm going to add a commit hash here. All right, so this is done, and maybe I'm gonna do this thing as well in RC1. So I'm gonna delete the tag and do some cowboy stuff. But I want to fix this before the RC, the release candidate, because this will seriously limit the number of people that can use Capactior. So let me look at where I have releases in the code base. Two places. In Helm release controller, I get Helm releases from this API group on the wrong version. So that is one place, and this is another place. And hopefully this will solve issues for people who are using older Flux. Okie dokie. Git diff. That is one place, another place. Oh, come on, guys. All right, so this is another fix. Easy ones. I did, yeah. Okay, let me fix this UI glitch because it's fun. Fun. No, it's actually just some recreational stuff at 5:30 today. So I'm happy to do front end where things are predictable. CSS issues are still considered good issues to have. Some issues are driving me nuts. So, but CSS issues are fine. So what am I doing here? I'm going to run Capactior from VS Code. Okay, now I get a deprecation warning. That is fine. I expected it. I can live with it. Good. So this is the app running, and let's fake the number of customizations. So when I display Fluxes or footer, and I have a nice array of the menu where these are labels, these are numbers. So if I do 22 here, that looks good. If I do 49, that doesn't really look good because already I am missing a padding here. And if I have releases has some higher number, I don't know, 10, it's broken because it breaks it to 2 lines. So some wrapping entailed in CSS. So maybe I'm just going to make this a slightly larger, and that solves it. So if I do 56, boom. All right, this was too easy. All right. But am I satisfied with this change? I am. How does it look with the original? Yeah, it still looks good. Nobody recognizes the change anyway. So 48.56, nobody cares. So this is good. It was faster than expected. Actually, there was another thing that, yeah, I had the low key in one of my clusters, and I had two dependencies, and they were broken like that. So that is odd. I mean, I have even longer. So Express.js test app is a longer name than Loki. Plus, this is also, like way shorter than here. So I have no idea about this glitch. All right, maybe I will keep an eye out about this, and if I see it, I will fix it later. But let's not keep this issue open then, because it doesn't do any good. I will reopen it if I see it again. All right, performance optimizations I will not do today, and logs and describe of a pod I will not start doing that today, and these other two as well. My colleague is going to help out here. So what else did I plan? Do you guys have any questions? Yeah. Honestly, I was not thinking, like what things I want to do, like or like how much time is going to take. These were just toy issues, so sorry you will not see any, I don't know, mysterious magic coding here. Do you guys have any question? If you do, I'm happy to answer them. Or if you want to get into some coding, I actually have 1 more hour. After that, I have to go and do some shopping. The fridge is empty at back home. So that's the only limitation I have. Besides that, yeah, so the release candidate is officially out. I'm going to hack the tag right now. You can try it on your cluster. Please do. It's going to help us immensely. If you have a feature request, let us know. Talk to me, talk to anyone in the team, because we want to make this very useful. And again, the vision is to kick Argo CD off the throne, and just have Capactior as good as Argo when it comes to observability. Awesome. So release candidate is out. You should try it. Thank you. Release is going to happen a few weeks from now. Maybe there's going to be 1 more stream before that, maybe just a launch event. We want to do like a big launch. Even we're going to try product hunt, not because we're going to be product of the day. This is a very niche product, just to get some experience in doing product hunt launches. So that's the plan. Plus, yeah, there is some news coming from the Flux project, I think, very soon, and we want to be ready with Capactior to just signal that we take Flux very serious, and we really want to make this project work for you and for us. I'm going to start using it with my clients, and hope I can catch some issues, like real production issues on their clusters, because it should be a nice little tool. Awesome. Let me hack the tag. So I have the tag here. I'm going to delete it. Don't do this at home. then tag it again. All right, and I also need to clear the tag on GitHub. So I'm going to delete the release, and I'm going to delete the tag. Delete tag, and I'm going to push the tag. All right, I have a tag, CI is running, good stuff. And the release is going to be created by the CI plugin. Awesome. Let me just revisit this roadmap because even I don't remember what I wrote there. So FluxCD data sync state backend. This is done. I mean, these are FluxCDs. We have sync state. We can debate like how they are showing the state transitions, how to handle error cases. The fact is, or the truth is, it's not very obvious with Flux because there is no like one true state. I am reconciling or I am in error. Instead, there are different flags, like the ready, like they call it conditions. So if you look at the issues, yeah. So here, basically, every CRV or every Flux resource have sometimes 4 states, like released false, ready, unknown, reconciling true. This is basically the reconciling state. But you know, sometimes ready is true, sometimes false, and no. So there is sometimes ready is false and reconciling true, and all these combinations. I don't think I got it right 100%. You can tell that from the fact that I can't even like describe the problem in clear words. So obviously I need to update my mental model. But I tried my best, and so far the error states that I was aware of are handled very well. So yeah, so Flux CRD data backend done, front end definitely done. The UI for Kubernetes resources deployed by Flux, so that is the top part. So everything is shown here, which is part of an inventory of a customization. So these are applications that were deployed by Flux. And for Helm releases, that's a different set of apps. Yeah, the Helm releases are also shown here. So I consider it done. Quick actions, logs, events, describe, port forward. Except events, we are done. Plus, we are going to add some filters, but I consider it like done, so that the basic stuff is there. Displaying errors, not done. So, for example, here, this is a crash loop backoff. In Gimlet, oh, come on, the noise is back. So this is not related to mic, this is related to something else. So audio. I am going to the big mic. Okay, I hope the mic change fixed it again. This is annoying, and I'm having this with clients as well, and I have no idea. I really should search about this issue with Max. And it happens on Teams, it happens on Hangouts, it happens everywhere. So annoyed. Awesome. So displaying errors, not done. What I mean by that is that this pod is in pending state. It is actually in crash loop backoff, and in Gimlet, for example, there is like a large label telling like, hey, this is in this pod cannot pull the image. This is when it typically happens. This is what you can do. So like a real-time troubleshooting assistance aid that is definitely coming to Capactior. Of course, we want to first iron out the basic Flux things, but errors are going to be part of the project. And if there are errors, we can notify you over Slack. So that's That's definitely in the plans. We want to support environments. Right now, you deploy a capacitor per cluster, and there is no like multi-cluster view here. At some point, we are going to have it. Maybe there will be like a cluster picker or something. No idea. But then, like maybe there is going to be like a capacitor server and an agent, and it adds some complexity, but we are not there yet. And application metadata, service catalog items, it is a small addition. We are going to add it at some point. Not a biggie and not very important for the first launch. So what I wanted here is that assess roadmap. So, and that's basically it. I mean, I don't want to code too much. Honestly, I'm a little bit tired. I wanted to give you guys an update and, just give a sign that we are alive and we are working on this thing. So thank you very much for today. If you don't have any questions, I think I'm going to, just go into my evening. And please try the project. Please start the project. And if you have any questions or you want to help out, reach out. I'm on LinkedIn, Discord, everywhere. So thank you very much, everyone. Take care. See ya.